Well, hey there, friends. I hope you're having a wonderful day out there in your gardens. I'm so thankful to be out in the garden doing another garden walk and talk because I haven't been out here in about 2 weeks. We had intense heat followed by crazy storms, which knocked out tons of power all over south central Pennsylvania. But now we've got clear skies and I can come outside and breathe the air. So I have to be honest with you. Following this heat wave and the storms, some things look really bad. So instead of walking around the garden today, I'm going to just show you some highlights from what's looking good, and I'll also show you some lowlights of what got hit during that storm. So let's start today's garden tour over in the Booknook, where we have a combination of things that look good and things that look bad. Now, things that look good are these Henry Studio pots that we filled with Pinkie Pie, Agastache, cascading geraniums, straw flowers, and Nicotiana. These pots are bringing me so much joy. I'll give you a close-up on all the flowers. These 3 pots get more sun than these 3 pots. This is a full sun location, but the sun goes like this throughout the course of the day and sets behind the garden library. So these pots don't get sun until probably about, I would say, 1 o'clock because they're shaded by the Coosa dogwood right here. Now what I wanted to do was fill these pots with things that the hummingbirds love and also with cut flowers. Now friends, if you're looking for a perennial that looks good for months and never goes out of flower, check out this Pinkie Pie Agastache. I picked these up at Fisher's Greenhouse. I believe I have 4 or 5 plants in this pot. This is exactly what they looked like about a month and a half ago when I planted them. The hummingbird comes to these every single morning. It's just a wonderful perennial. We'll pop those out and put them in the landscape in the fall. Now I wanted to stay with a pink color palette, so I planted some light pink Nicotiana in these pots. In the center we have Mexican bush sage. Now I do think I overfilled these pots. I'm hoping that the Mexican bush sage will have enough potting soil, enough nutrients in the potting soil in order to bloom beautifully for us, but we'll see. And then down below in this small pot, I did an ornamental pepper, and I think these are cascading really nicely over the side of this pot. And then I did some pink straw flower. Now friends, keeping it real, you know, sometimes I do these tours in my PJs. Today I'm doing it in my bathrobe. And of course, I have coffee in the library. There's nothing better in life than walking around your garden in the morning looking like a hot mess in your PJs. Now friends, following that devastating heat wave, you can see that a lot of my incredible hydrangeas got burned. As I say, this is a full sun location, and actually let's take a look at something interesting. Now the sun hits these hydrangeas at a more intense heat later on in the day because, as I say, sun sets back here. So these ones that are getting that late sun really got hit. But take a look at these ones over here that get morning sun and then are protected from the hot afternoon sun. They really didn't get hit at all. Isn't that interesting? Definitely something to note. And you can see that the nigella that I seeded below our incredible hydrangeas is blooming. In retrospect, I really didn't have enough room for these nigellas because, as you can see, they're spilling over the side versus standing upright. But that's all right. I still like that nice blue sparkle that they add underneath our incredible hydrangeas. I'm hoping that you'll come back in late August because I'm going to have a beautiful dahlia show to share with you all, but also a lot of these hydrangeas are going to look different in about, I would say, 3 to 4 weeks time because we've got Limelight, Strawberry Sundae, and Limelight Prime in the back of these incredible hydrangeas. And even though they look similar right now, in a month's time, they're going to look completely different. Here we have a Blue Point juniper. And let me just turn you around so you can see the view from inside the library. That Nicotiana is really beautiful, isn't it? And there are a few Nicotiana plants in here that haven't put out any bloom stalks yet. This one looks like it's going to get a bloom stalk. This plant looks kind of sickly, doesn't it? I might have to swap that out for a different plant. And that one's not blooming yet either. So we might have to do some switching around. I have an informal arrangement here in the Booknook. Let me get down for a second. This pot used to belong to my grandma, and she used to enter flower shows with arrangements that she placed in this pot. My Aunt Maria made this pot. So we've got Hydrangeas, Dara. Some beautiful snapdragons. Aren't those lovely? This is the Potomac Lavender Snapdragon. Agastaki. What kind of yarrow is this? I can't remember. I actually didn't grow this one from seed. I just bought the plants. Strawberry Lemonade Sunflowers. Sublime Hydrangea. And, oh yes, Invincible Ruby. So, there's a look at how the Booknook is looking. Rocky, very inappropriate, rockaroo. That is how the Booknook is looking after our crazy heat wave and storms. Oh, also I should show you, most of the hydrangeas held up well and didn't fall over, but these two did kind of fall into each other. The last time you saw the garden, I believe all of these catmint were going out of bloom. They were starting to turn that dusty gray color that happens later in the growing season. After that heat wave, they looked so bad that I decided to cut them all the way back to the ground. And I cut them back to the ground, completely back to the ground, on July 5th. Today is July 25th, and look at how beautiful they look. Now, full disclosure, the garden looked absolutely terrible for about 10 days. But I'm really happy with how they came back. And I wanted to track exactly how long it takes a catmint to rebloom if you cut it all the way back to the ground. So hopefully I'll have a video coming out on that in the future. Also, I had a lamb's ear right here that got hit really bad. The lamb's ear has never looked good for the entire growing season, so I pulled that out and replaced it with Treasure Trove Rudbeckia. I think in the last tour I was talking about needing a focal point for this area, but I think I actually just needed to move the bench over a little bit and add a place where you can set your coffee. So I went to the antique store in early July, and look at what I found. Now you guys remember, my grandma's last name was Miller. Guess what I found at the antique store? Look at this. R. Miller. And that was my grandfather's first initial. His name was Ross Miller. So I thought, well, I have to set this here. Now you have somewhere to put your coffee in. I think it looks a little bit better over here when you walk through the hydrangea room. We've got two different Amsonias in this area. Butterscotch turns a beautiful lime green before turning orange. This one, I can't remember what kind of Amsonia that is, but it's not butterscotch, so it stays green. And I prefer this one that turns chartreuse. We're getting some beautiful color on the Gatsby Gal oak leaf hydrangea. Now I believe I started with a few Agastaki plants back here. And then I'll look at this Japanese beetle. just chilling like a villain. Oh, where did he go? He dropped. Anyway, this Agastaki, which probably seems out of place in the front of the border, it just seated itself here. So in the fall, we'll go ahead and move that. It's a little bit tall for this area, but that's all right. The hummingbird loves it. And I love the smell. Kind of smells like licorice. It has a good vase life, but you can see the bees love it. Most of what we have back here just self-seeded itself. We've got some cleome, some verbena, and here's some more cleome over here. Let's look at the new Beastro garden area before heading down the main flower walk, because this area also got hit by that high heat. The pots, oh my gosh, they look so bad, don't they? What do you guys think I should put in these? The geraniums could not take that heat whatsoever, at least in the pots where I mixed them with the lobelia. Just so many yellow leaves. I was cutting these back continuously. I'm contemplating putting just maybe a variegated sedum in them. This panicle hydrangea that started to turn a lovely pink color is firelight hydrangea. It did open up in the middle a little bit following the storms. And here's what storm-proof hydrangea looks like after that intense heat. Not great, friends. Not great. Now, our limelight hydrangeas were not really in bloom when this severe heat wave was happening, so they all look fine. Nick and I did need to basically reseed the entire lawn. We're just using a mixture of microclover, white clover, and fine fescue. So you'll see definitely some lawn repair as we move along. So here's a nice comparison for you. You see this area right here. These catmint I also cut all the way down to the ground, but this catmint right here, oh sorry about that, I went out of focus. This catmint, it did not get cut back. So you can see the difference in color there. And after I cut these back, I was devastated because it looked like there was nothing in my garden because it left these huge holes. So I quickly went down to the nursery and picked up some pink Jolt Sweet William, and I popped these in between the catmint because I have interplanted catmint and Sweet William before, and I knew that they could handle being planted really close to each other. So I think that'll look beautiful in another 2 weeks. But look at the difference in the color of the foliage on these catmint that I cut back versus the one that I did not cut back at all. And what's really interesting is, so this plant I picked up from a nursery, oh boy, it needs water. This one is the Amazon Magic Rose. I grew this one from seed. I got the seed from Johnny's. It looks very similar to Jolt. What didn't mind the heat at all were these rose lilies. This is Rose Lily Tatiana. These rose lilies have a long vase life, subtle fragrance, and no pollen. I know pollen is a big concern for a lot of you, so I would recommend growing a rose lily instead if you are concerned about pollen and any pets that you may have around. What I'd like to do next week is plant some more of this whirling butterflies. They really do look like butterflies as the bees visit them. They just flutter around in the breeze, and this is a variety of Gara that's white. In my area, I feel like Gara is a short-lived perennial. Sometimes it comes back, sometimes it doesn't. And you can see we have a lot of dahlias in the garden this year. These are all of my blue and lavender dahlias. In the hydrangea room, Little Quickfire has come into bloom. These hydrangeas are getting a little more protection from the apple tree up above, so some of the blooms did burn. Actually, these look just completely dead. I need to cut that out. But as we travel back further, where hydrangeas like Haas Halo are essentially in the shade, they didn't really suffer any damage whatsoever. So that is really great. But we've got much more muted tones in the hydrangea room at this time of year. It's late July, so we had lots of beautiful pinks and whites in previous weeks. But things are really going to start to calm down in the hydrangea room now. And it's really going to be this crepe myrtle right here that is a beautiful vibrant pink, and the firelights that are going to have some color, but the focus is really going to come away from the hydrangea room and more onto things like the Booknook, the main flower walk, and also what we have to go see, the new rose garden near the pear tree. Being back here reminds me that I forgot to tell you guys about the Better Homes and Gardens shoot. Unfortunately, it didn't end up happening. Things just didn't work out, as they sometimes don't. But I'm very thankful to have instead signed a contract with Terrain. So you'll start to see my work being featured on, I think, their TikTok, their Instagram, and maybe some other places where you can purchase products in the months to come. So I'm really thankful that even though one thing didn't work out, another thing did. And so you'll see some of their products, like these lamps, around the garden. And also these beautiful lights in our new rose garden. So isn't this lovely? We just mass planted this area with Roseanne geraniums last year. I think I got these from Great Garden Plants. They didn't look like much at the time, but don't they look stunning, planted in mass. And we have some roses coming back into bloom. I had planted, let me scoot in here. What did I just say? Did I say scoot? Let me scoot in here. I planted some snapdragons in here, but I've cut most of them. And we were going to give up on our pear tree this year, but my husband did not want to cut it down. He wanted to give it one more year, and he was right. It's doing much better this year. Let's see. There's another pear there. Ooh, can you guys still see? Way up there. I did flip some of these raised beds, and I'll continue to flip them in the weeks to come. I believe we had, what did we have right here? Oh yeah, Cerinthe Major right there. Popped those out, put another round of sunflowers in. So you can see that. Popped the lilies out that were right here, put in more sunflowers. These beds are filled with dahlias that aren't really in bloom yet. So we'll just skip over that for now. But I did want to show you just how beautiful all of these Roseanne geraniums look. And then where you see a stake is where I have an orange dahlia. So eventually, by I would say mid to late September, we'll have a bunch of vibrant orange dahlias back here. Let's actually head into the library. Since it's been too hot to garden, I've been doing some reading, and I do have a book that I think you all might enjoy. Here's another product that Terrain sent out. I think they're calling this a bird wreath, a bird feeder wreath. It's full of dried flowers, nigella. You know what I think that is? I think it's oregano, some wheat. Anyway, just really fun. So I just popped that onto the mirror. But here's the book I think you might enjoy. It's called The Art of Fine Gardening. And there's a lot of inspiring pictures in here. I've been looking at this every morning, just getting ideas for that new entryway. I've been getting some ideas for near the gate where my husband parks his truck. But I think I paid about maybe $35 for this book, and it was definitely worth it. Oh, look at that. Anyway, it's just lovely. I would highly recommend getting this book. And it's nice because they have the drawings of the garden and then they have a picture of the finished garden next to it. So it really helps in terms of planning things out and spacing things. Boy, we have a lot of jewels of Opar popping up in the cracks this year. I didn't plant any of these. These are all self-seeders. Such a cool plant with this lime-colored succulent foliage and these berry-looking blooms. And they open up, these berries. They open up, they're pink flowers, they have very short-lived flowers, and then they turn back to these little itty-bitty berries. They seed themselves everywhere. You can see down there in the Beastro garden. Actually, let's walk down there again. The stones extend all the way back to those storm-proof hydrangeas, but you can't even really see that because it's covered up by jewels of Opar, but I like it. And look how these blooms have decided to just grow through the cracks of the Beastro table. I mean, that is just so much fun. It kind of reminds me of a smoke bush in a way. The look of all these blooms really gives that nice misty effect. All right, let's head over to the driveway garden. This older limelight started to bloom. This garden really needs some attention, but I'm not sure whether or not I want to add in a lot more yellow into this garden or if I want to amp up the amount of purple I have in late summer. So sorry, it's gonna get a little bit loud over here, friends. But you can see I have all of these openings where we did have lilies. Nick and I decided to eliminate any lily that reaches a mature height of 4 feet or lower over in these areas where Rocky might be able to pick up some of the pollen on his fur. Now, of course, Grace can never come over into this area, so I don't have to worry about her. But I have some Millennium and Serendipity alliums in this area. And maybe I should just add more where the lilies were. Or maybe I should add some Rudbeckia. I don't know. I don't think I'm loving that yellow. Let me know what you think. I also placed some dahlias in this area. We'll take a closer look at those in a few weeks' time. This garden has Firelight Hydrangeas and Pinky Winky Hydrangeas in it. The Invincible Spirit Hedge is completely green at this point. I didn't touch these boxwoods at all this year, and I think they look fine. Oh, but you know what? Some of the bricks did go out of place, so I'll have to fix that. You can see some figs forming down there. This is a brown turkey fig. It's a great fig for Pennsylvania. Comes back reliably each year. We have an abelia here that I'm not really allowing this abelia to bloom anymore. I'm just shaping it nicely into a ball. You can see it did put on one little bloom right there. Now, if I didn't shape this up, this would be covered in white blooms at the moment. So we have some more lilies to remove in this garden. Also, some huge weeds that need to come out. And maybe I should have cut that catmint back a few weeks ago. But, you know, the driveway garden, it doesn't change too much. But we definitely have some holes that need attention. Let me know what you think. Should we stay purple or should we add in a lot of yellow? I haven't showed you this planter yet this year. I grew these zinnias from seed. I believe they're called Raspberry Ripple. I fell in love with the picture on the package. I forgot to look at the mature height. When I went to plant them, it said the mature height was 18 inches. So I decided to stick them here in this box. The Instant Hedge and the Incrediballs in the front are looking good. It looks like I had an animal digging around in the front. But those have turned a lovely lime green color now. Well, I think that brings us to the end of this week's Garden Walk and Talk. I'm going to edit this video on my computer versus on my phone. So would you please let me know if the quality of the footage is any better this week? I'm always looking to hear your opinions on the quality of the footage and the quality of the audio. I want to make these videos as enjoyable as possible for you. And I want you to see what I'm seeing. It's such a bummer when I watch some of these videos back and the quality is just subpar. Well, friends, I want to wish you a fabulous day out there in your gardens, and I'll see you back here sometime in Northlawn real soon. Bye, friends.